There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Hey, you gumpers, how are you doing on this Feelgood Friday? Munson here, bon dia alegria to you from Expats, Portugal, here on the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Tudo bem? Oh, yes, okay, nice comments coming in already, fantastic. Let's have a leisurely hangout this morning, shall we? Until Jenny B gets here. Jenny B slot this morning, of course. First Friday of the month, first day of the month as well, isn't it? Happy July to you. Pinch punch, first of the month. It's just sometimes you're glad you live in a virtual world, right? So we don't get a pinch and a punch this morning. And no returns. I don't know if you said that where you're from. I think I need to tweak my green screen, which is not a euphemism here. Let me make some little adjustments. And we need to do the ticker tape this morning. A bit of a leisurely start, I have to say. But yeah, Jenny B with us. And this morning, let me just see what happens if I do that. So, a bit like that. I don't know if you're not going to see this on the podcast, but I'm just tweaking my green screen. Okay, let me just nonchalantly flip my headphone cable behind my shoulder because I'm worth it. And very posh looking, Carl. Nice shirt. I've got mixed feelings about. I know, Pete Bleach is probably going to say, Louisa's going to want her tea towel back, for example. Linen. It's a mixed blessing, isn't it? It means you don't have to iron it. And even if you do, there's no point. So it can look a bit crumpled, and you have to be careful, don't you? I don't do any ironing anymore. I haven't ironed a shirt for several years now. I just actually quite like it as part of the ritual of going out, firing up the iron. I don't want to be crashing my Portuguese fuse board by complicating things with ironing. So what I like to do now, what you think a lot of people do, is just dry the shirt in the Portuguese sun. But you've got to make sure the buttons are. Yeah, the problem with these linen shirts, you might see it on this collar. If you don't dry it right, the linen stays stiff and starchy, doesn't it, in the position in which you laid it. And there's quite a lot of erotic novel entry potential in all that I've just said. Anyway, enough about my stiffness and starchiness in the first thing in the morning. Let's see who's in here. I've got to do the ticker tape, haven't you? So we know what's going on. In case we have moments, senior moments, I think they're called, aren't they, sometimes? If in case any of us have that and wonder where we are at any given moment, if you drop off, have a snooze and wake up and you just don't know who or where you are, which is a feeling I actually really like, I've got to say, then just look at the ticker tape and it will be our reference point in life, just so that you can come back into the land of the living and into the world and see where you are. It's Feelgood Friday. Yes, of course it is. Let me just, that didn't work first time. Okay. But that did. That's going right in there now. So yeah, if you need it, if you drop off, and you need to be reminded where you are. I can't really help with who you are. You could just type something into the chat, and then you'll say, yes, I'm James the Slug or whoever. That's me, Carl. Yes, I get it now. So yes, you're very welcome. All part of the service here on the Good Morning Portugal show from Expats Portugal. Okay, who is here? Let's just a very quick cursory name check. I think we'll get the God Squad tip of the day in early, so we don't forget. We're going to be talking to Jenny this morning about what's under the flying carpet. What do you mean, Carl? What's under the flying carpet? This sort of stuff. And we're going to do it in a light-hearted way. In case anyone's thinking, after the luggage comes, they're going to be doing navel gazing again this morning, aren't they? Always got to be talking about all that touchy-feely stuff. We just want to get on with it. And we don't want to be bothered by our therapeutic navel gazing, blah, blah, blah. Well, I would say we on the one hand, we make it very light-hearted when we do this sort of thing. And there's no talking of carpets. If you stuff everything under the carpet, if we're in denial about things, eventually you trip over the carpet and you stuff so much stuff underneath there that you either have to walk around it, take the long way around, or get another carpet. But every now and then something happens in life, doesn't it? That has you look underneath the carpet. And this morning is one of those mornings, and we'll do it in a light-hearted and supportive way. This community is many things, and one of those things I would like to think is it's very supportive when it comes to examining the other sides of migration, for example, which we'll do this morning after Jenny B has joined us at 9 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you are too. But yeah, after the luggage comes the baggage. Wherever you go, there you are. The what now syndrome, and my new favorite, what's under the flying carpet, because that's what our journey can be like, a flying carpet adventure. Yay, here we go. We're flying. 3 wishes, one of them has been granted, and here I am on my flying carpet landing in Portugal. And then there are other sides to this journey, and we can face them together if and when they come up. I don't think there's much of an if about it. They do come up, and so better to be prepared and ready with those sorts of, what will they be called? Intervention, support, that sort of thing. And we'll be talking about it. And we'll have some fun talking about it this morning after 9 with Jenny. Last night's webinar, this was very good. And it will be. A few people sent me messages to say that they missed it or couldn't get in. You never know with Zoom. There's a lot of user error. I couldn't get in myself last night. Jerry had to let me in. And then our second call, the Premium Plus Lounge, which I'm calling it now, hanging out. It was so good. So many people on the Premium Plus call last night. I had a lovely time hearing of people buying houses, looking for houses, shipping stuff. It went better than planned with some of the shipping. All the things we talk about on the Premium Plus Lounge at 9. But I couldn't get in. Couldn't get into my own call. Yeah, Zoom can be a bit of a pain in the bottom. Who's been stuck in that loop? Can we show you around the new features? You don't get a chance. You've got to click 5 times. I know, Zoom, I don't want to see your new offering. It's probably just as terrible as your current offering. Why is all... No, anyway, let's not get into that, or Microsoft Teams for that matter. But just, the reason I showed that was not to trigger myself into a Zoom or Teams-based rant. It was to tell you that the call went very well. The misconceptions and misinformation about access to healthcare in Portugal. I will do I'll top and tail that and stick it up on the internet. Pump it up the internet at some point. Who doesn't like pumping it up the internet first thing in the morning? So we'll do that at your service with that. And it was very entertaining, very engaging, and above all, very informative. Thank you very much, Doctor. We on the Zoom call, we have a little bit of music to get the party started. Last night's selection was Peter Sellers and Sophia Loren and Boom Buddy Boom. Do you remember that? Jerry really enjoyed it. He's wiggling away to that one. A little trip down memory lane there. I was going to play Dr. Feelgood by Aretha Franklin. But turns out that that was a bit of a showstopper and a crowd pleaser. Great job, Michael. Oh, and Nuna jumped in from time to time as well. Who's in this morning? Yeah, I was going to say a cursory glance, and then we'll come back to the God Squad tip of the day. Might even look at the Portugal Resident and Portugal News to get a sense of what's been going on in the news. And not too depressing, don't worry. It is Feelgood Friday after all. 1st of July. Where did those months and weeks go? So Ian is in, Coach Turner's in, T-Duck is in, the Slug has returned. And don't forget, of course, on Monday, Migration Monday, Gilda will be back. Thank you for anything that you've sent in related to that, you especially, Darren. And I wonder what James is going to be called with his thoughts from the Redwoods on Monday morning. And Brian's in, Deagle's here, Tony Baldilocks, Cindy B. Hello, Cindy. Steve, Stephen, Gary, Porky Feet, Andy, Antonio F. Owen. Good morning, Owen. And Reshab is here too. Reshab's a regular now, isn't he? Hola, bon dia. Gumpers from Reshab. Is it freezing for you as well? I'm getting occasional freeze here. Is my streaming up the spout? Hola, bon dia, Carl and Gumpers. I'll have to do a little bit of tweaking this weekend. I meant on the computers. Mind your business. Joao F as well is here, and Andy Gilchrist, Trevor, Andy Gilchrist, Lord Andy Gilchrist. He was trying to make out last night. He has actually got. Well, I was going to say the paperwork. He's got some paperwork about that. If you want to become a lord or lady yourself, ask Andrew how to do that. I feel like yes, I must call him Andrew if he is a lord. Okay, then. So let's go straight to this. God Squad tip of the day, the gentle fitness for bon viveurs. My knee is still giving me trouble, but I think it's, I think a lot of these things are sort of metaphysical, aren't they? Psychosomatic. And the knee represents flexibility. Interesting. Let's give you a little bit of a giveaway to you there. What's going on, I wonder? Oh, one of my lights is out. I'm going to leave the stage whilst I'm going to try and make this as seamless as possible. I haven't turned one of my lights on. No wonder there's some flaring and flashing on the screen. No, don't worry. Not that kind of flashing on the screen. I'll be right back then after this. There we go. Back now. Hasn't made any difference at all. What a pro for getting to turn the lights on. Okay. And actually, one of them is running on a domestic lamp in the studio lights that I've got here. One's yellow, one's kind of bright white, one's this other kind of shade here. My powerful light went. It just made one of those, unnerving and then stopped working. And I just put a domestic lamp in the other one. Might cut it down to candles. What with this cost of living crisis and everything? A couple of candles each side, 4 candles each side of the screen there. Yeah, it'll have to be 4, won't it? For the power, the sheer power of 4 candles. Shout out to all the 2 Ronnie's fans this morning. Bon dia, Carl. Apologies for being AWOL yesterday, but I had a case of Darth's revenge plus what's that? What exactly is that? Plus a 5-hour drive. You went to the dark side. I think we know what you mean. Yeah, not an ideal combo. Still back today with the renegade gumpers. Back once again with the ill behavior, and the God Squad tip of the day. The most difficult part of exercise is starting. Yes, so true. And that begins with putting on your shoes. That's all you have to do. Put on your shoes and take the first step out of your door. Who's going to put their hand up and say, okay, busted, you're right. I'm procrastinating. I am the procrastinator. I might not be back. So yes, if that's you and you fancy this weekend committing in front of these here gumpers to a little bit of exercise, just to walk around the block. If that's a development, if that's progress for you, going out for a walk, let us know, and we will gently hold you to account. No holding the feet to the fire here. Just to a candle, possibly. We always like to prefer to have no pressure or stress, but still be serious about things. Get stuff done eventually. Bon dia, alegria gumpers from T-Duck. Incoming cup of cha as well. Isn't that lovely? What? Why did you really just say in front of everybody, I want you to sniff my hands? Why? Why? Oh dear. Happy July, everybody. Don't forget to pay your rent, unless you bank at Millennium. I've paid the rent, love. Don't worry about that. I've got it all under control here. Ah! When sci-fi effects go wrong. The cup of tea was coming in with the green screen funny effect and just the Uncle Fester's hand. Trouble is, she wasn't concentrating on the angle of the teacup, and some of the steaming hot liquid has landed and threw my linen shirt onto my arm. Please do not be waving a hot cup of tea around. I think we need, for all of these stunts, I think we need to live hand sniffing, something you never thought you'd see.
Why am I doing that? What was your last comment to me?
Wash your hands before you make my tea.
Yes.
Okay, this is a spooky connection because we have fostered a little duck, and Mrs. M was. Do you want to send that nice picture of the little duck so I can show everybody? No, you can't bring. Yeah, come on. Have we not learned anything from bringing hot tea in? Bring a duckling into the studio. What could possibly go wrong? A lovely white linen shirt on. No, he cannot come in here. She, whoever it is. So we don't know yet. And what now? You lighting a joss stick?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you mind? I'm trying. Thank you for the tea, by the way.
It's Friday. The only day with sex in it.
It's Friday. She goes. The only day with sex in it would have expired on her face. I'm busy. Sexta feira is the reference that is being made there. Okay, all right. Where was I before I was so rudely, actually, literally rudely interrupted there with all sorts of innuendo and stuff? Hot tea on my arm. Happy July. Don't forget to pay your rent unless you bank at Millennium. Yeah, that's no, but no landlord wants to hear that today. Sorry, it's Millennium's fault. They're not letting me pay you the rent. that I just tried to repeat the rent transfer I do every month, and it was blocked. So I'll miss the show again today. Well, I once again try to straighten this out. Who doesn't like to straighten this out first thing in the morning? Good luck with that, T-Duck. Does anyone know where I can get a couple of pitchforks at this hour? Well, T-Duck, maybe. I know you're good for it, so if you need the red page, give me a shout. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta a todos. E feliz Julio também. Tudo bem. Very good, James. Now, this is good. I was thinking to myself, behind the scenes there, actually, behind my eyes, in my brain, maybe everyone should make their first comment in Portuguese, but no, please don't do that. That would be making a lot of trouble for me. Will Rogers quote of the day. We didn't ever find out how Will Rogers spoke, did we? Some people tried to turn back. Oh no, maybe you did send me a video of Will Rogers, and I didn't get around to looking at it. Some people tried to turn back their odometers, which would be a mileometer as well. Why would you call it an odometer? That's like the smell in the car, isn't it? Not unlike Coach Turner's car, possibly. Sorry, Ian. Odometer does sound like the amount of poetry or odor that you might have in your car, but no, it's the mileage, isn't it? Not me. I'll read the whole thing again. Forgive me. Some people try to turn back their odometers. Not me. I want people to know why I look this way. The tough paper round. I've traveled a long way, and some of the roads weren't paved. Oh my goodness. Some people might be using that later today. I've traveled a long way and the roads weren't paved. They were calçada, I tell you. Wow, that's great. Thank you very much. Sluggers Return, James. I love Jenny B Fridays. Yes, indeed. And adoro sexta-feira, Jenny B. Very good. Yes, it's no harm in trying. We will be told, I suspect, by Antonio F, possibly, if that is correct. Bon dia, Gumpers from Brian. How's your vertical rotisserie? That's not every day people say that to you, is it? Maybe they do now. I don't know. Bon dia, Carl. Yes, there we go. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers. Feliz sexta-feira, as Carl would say, who doesn't like a bit of sexta first thing in the morning. Jakey. And Bon dia, Alegria. We'll be taking off to Porto this morning. IKEA in Matosinhos, to be exact. Why'd you go all that way, Baddy? Why don't you go to the one in Lisbon that's less than an hour away? It's none of my business, but just in case you didn't know there was one in Lisbon, or maybe it's a special thing that you need. Matosinhos. Nice to go to Matosinhos. What a great place that is, of course. Bon dia, Gumpers from Cindy B and Stephen Baldylocks. Yes, Cindy B, have your allergies subsided a bit? And have we got any? Do you need any help? Do you want any remedies suggested? I suspect you're all over it, Cindy B. If I know you, you'll know exactly what you're doing with that. Gary Orgles, flipping Fab Friday, everybody. From Gary. He doesn't really talk like that. But that's what I want to say when I see Flippin' Fab Friday on the screen. Bon dia from the Bairrada region with his grapes, with his suckling pig and his spumante, his sparkling. The fizz, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Just 6 days until I drink again. Who's going to have a beer with me on the 7th? On my birthday next week. Let's do that, shall we? Should we do it at the beginning of the show or at the end? Probably more appropriate to do it at the end, isn't it? So let's do it at the beginning. Missed last night's Zoom. Thursdays are always long at work. Oh, okay. The webinar will be, the video was made, the recording was made, and there will be a video, Gary, to watch. It was very good. Very long, actually. Very thorough. Thank you, Tony. I think I have discovered the cause. Very good. Excellent. Carl, screen looking good in Belfast. Okay, so me adjustments have worked out there. Antonio F, how are you doing? Bon dia todos. I want to be in early with a bon fin de semana. Shouted that across the road to my neighbor. I love those exchanges. Bon dia, tudo bem, tudo bem. Bon fin de semana, igualmente. Beautiful, love that. Bon dia, woke up to the news. We live in the world's happiest city. Can I have the link, please? Come on, Trevor. Give me the link for that, and I will pop that on the screen. Which esteemed news outlet are you looking at? I'm just having a quick look at the front pages myself at the moment. President calls time on government's political crisis. That's not it then, is it? Back to the sea. UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon brings focus back to nature. Well, that sounds all right, unless it's just a load of old hot air, which it could be, couldn't it? GNR. Faro's territorial commander warns Algarve mayors police numbers well down on what you think. With a little wink, probably. And more money is needed by the sound of it, or more certainly some better management of the situation, possibly. That seems to be going on all over the Build Back Better world, doesn't it? Where is this build? When's this Build Back Better actually going to happen then, and the leveling up? Seems like there's a lot of leveling down and no building at all. And the cost of building materials. What? How is it? I would say that is it epitomizes, doesn't it? World politics at the moment. I mean, and I guess it's always been that way, isn't it? New train ticket promotions. Portugal news. I can't see this story in the news sources I'm looking at. Oh, yes, I can. Lisbon ranked the happiest city in the world. So it's not a Portugal story. It's a Portuguese capital story. And I'll come back to that. Thank you for that tip. Yeah, politics, leveling up, build back better, blah. And the evidence with our very own eyes, we can see that is not the case. Political gaslighting. Honestly. Anyway, let's cheer ourselves up with a dad joke. Let's not dwell on that on Feel Good Friday. But yeah, build back better. Okay. Not that we shouldn't be building back better, but come on. Why do we keep leaving it to these jokers? Anyway, sorry. Go.
Warning.
They're very glad to have snuck that in there so you weren't taken by surprise. A dad joke warning. I'm reading a horror story in Braille. Something bad is going to happen. I can feel it. Very good. Very good. That's one of those dad jokes, isn't it? Where you probably have to explain it to the kids, right? What's Braille? Oh, you ruined my joke. Kids, honestly. I fell asleep before the webinar started. None taken. None taken. So exciting. The thought of Carl and the webinar. Where am I? Oh, I'll just type a comment in. Oh, yes, my name is Carl and ticker tape. It's Feel Good Friday. Fantastic. Okay. Good morning, everyone, from Andrew then. We've got to look at this story, haven't we? Lisbon, happiest city in the world. I think Andrew will be happy about that as well. Capricorn Chris. Hey, do you know what? We haven't played this for a while. Capricorn Chris. The video that was made in your honor, keeper of the likes. Like us, Maximus.
Mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
That started playing itself again. That's weird. I don't know how that happened, or if I just went into a quick time warp there. Spooky stuff, as we're asking you to smash the like button. I think someone maybe smashed the like button a bit too hard there, and it's messed everything up behind the scenes. Hola, bon dia then to you, Chris. Capricorn 12. Hola, bon dia. Faja do dia today. Randy Crawford and Crusaders Street Life. Give it the full 12-inch on that. The long version of Street Life is sublime. Joe Sample of Street Life and Randy Crawford, that amazing voice of Randy Crawford. Because there's no place I can go. Street Life, it's the only one I know. There's 1,000 cards to play. Street Life. Okay, I'll stop now. But still flashing. It is still flashing, isn't it, Donna? I'm guilty as charged. Still flashing after all these years, and despite all the warnings and court orders. I have to drive to the office. I'll rejoin in a while. Haven't you got a car that's capable of running a MP3 or Bluetooth or something like that? You are as happy as you decide to be. Here we go with some spiritual advice from Pete this morning. Morning, Pete. I remember me, my brother, and a friend deciding when editing a mag, it was the best magazine in the world, and slapping it on the front cover. Is it a mag whose name you daren't mention, Pete, this morning? Which bit of publishing were you in exactly? And you said, you see, this is long before fake news, Pete. You're part of the irresponsibility in the media that has caused this situation we're in now. We're just deciding it's the best magazine in the world and slapping it on the front cover. I don't know what you slapped on the front cover exactly. But yes, good morning, Portugal, the best live stream in the world. Let me slap that on there somewhere as well. Webinar starts at 12 over here. Oh, 12 midnight, is that? It was a long day. Okay, yes. Sorry, Rishab. I was only kidding. Of course, people do have long days still, don't they? Especially those who are working towards their retirement or move here. And a lot of them are working extra hard to make it happen. So only kidding. And Antonio F. Joao F. Also in the army, we called camaradas to other military personnel. What did I miss? I think I must have missed a load of loads of comments here. Oh, this is how we treat our brothers in arms, comrades. What? Flattening out. I've missed loads of comments. I thought that you've all dried up, but actually you haven't dried up. And you're posting strong this morning. So thank you for that. I don't know where I got to in the end. He scythed his pants. What? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't want to know what that means, Andrew Gilchrist. You're in high spirits this morning. Oh, we got to that dad joke, didn't we? Jenny B is getting ready, limbering. Oh, she's got a nice mug. I got the gold edition, Jenny B. Look at mine. Look. Not sure everyone would want that illustration exactly on there, but I got the gold edition here. A special gift. A special gift from Feelgood Friday. And oh, still flashing. Gone to the dark side. Oh, Matty's here as well. Bon dia a todos y guten morgen, Jenny. I'm gonna stop the comments there because I think a lot of these are for Jenny now. And that's really unnerving. You're welcoming Jenny before she's even got to the screen. I have gone into it. Has the show gone on without me? And you're actually, am I talking to Jenny in a parallel universe? And you're watching that one. And I'm still back here in the past by a couple of minutes. Weird. I don't know. We'll find out in just a moment. I'm sure you'll tell me. And actually, I know what you're going to do. You're going to say, yes, Carl, that's right. And you're going to try and freak me out. Wind me up as you do. Lisbon has been rated as the happiest city in the world. You might want to see this on your screen. That's if it'll let me do it in the precursor, in the warm-up before Jenny B comes on. Here's some Feelgood Friday info. The story from the Portugal news. And yes, Lisbon ranked the happiest city in the world. How about that? It's funny, isn't it? It's a bit like when the White House says, you know how buildings speak. The White House said this afternoon, Downing Street said this afternoon, well, this is a happy city talking to you now. Lisbon ranked I'm the happiest city in the world. Lisbon has been rated the happiest city out of a survey, I guess, where they asked a lot of cities. What do they do? Do they go to the edge of the city, to the city limits and say, excuse me, city? And it's like, I'm busy over here. I'm busy over here with millions of people doing stuff in me. Well, that doesn't sound right. How are you? Are you, how's life for you, city? Well, I'm the happiest in the world. Let's see if that is how they did it here. What's this? Global Workforce Trends 2022. Can I turn these Google ads off before the old Viagra ads and Botox and stair lifts come up? Lisbon has been rated as the happiest city in the world by the American company iVisa. Not Visa, but iVisa. Which prepared a ranking with 40 destinations from different countries around the world. The iconic Belém sculpture there and the 25 de Abril Bridge, of course. Stock photo for this story. Quality, and a good one. I'm not knocking it. That's amazing, isn't it? That vista there. Lovely to walk down there. Please treat yourself to that. Go to Lisbon, walk down on the waterfront at that particular part by Belém. Quality of life, the number of hours of sunshine, number of hours worked. Well, a lot of hours. Portuguese people in Lisbon work really hard. And so is it happy working loads of hours, maybe? Cost of living and the friendliness of residents were the criteria evaluated in the ranking, according to a statement from Turismo de Lisboa, which also highlights that Lisbon is also one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It's got it going on. Lisbon is a city of excellence, a vibrant, inviting, and warm city. Being recognized as the happiest city in the world is a stimulus and a challenge to continue the work to improve the quality of life of residents and to make Lisbon an increasingly attractive destination, said Carlos Moedas, Mayor Municipality of Lisbon and the Lisbon Tourism Association. What a great job he has. And what a brilliant accolade to have. Hold on a minute. Portugal news, as well as a dad joke warnings, we should have angry comment warning. Whenever you open up the Portugal news, they've got a few angry correspondents. There's only one comment so far. It only went up 13 hours ago, just before nightfall, I guess. And Diogo F. from Madeira, who doesn't even live in Lisbon, says, I don't want my taxes paying for this false idiocy. Diogo, I think, may have slept with his feet out the window, as the Portuguese say. All right, calm down, Diogo. It's good news, I think, but he doesn't want his taxes paying for this false idiocy. Living in, from Madeira. and maybe not in Madeira there. So, Diogo, I hope your day improves. Quite grumpy there. Excellent news, of course, that Lisbon is ranked the happiest city in the world. Congratulations to you, Lisbon, and all who live in you. The aura is strong in this one, everybody, I have to say. Look at her. Jenny B is what? What? Who's that? Who's okay, let's do that again. So now we go to Jenny B in central Portugal, who's quite alone in the yurt at the moment. Morning, Jenny. How are you?
Morning. I'm so alone.
Yeah, I wonder if there's anything we can do about that. Might there be anyone lurking in the shadows? I wonder.
Wait, it was interesting. You know, we had to align our timelines to be here now together.
Yes,
So
thank you for doing that.
maybe let me see if we can get somebody else in the timeline.
Okay. What do we do? What... Did that work? Hello, bon dia to you, Uncle Crusty. How's it going? How are you?
Well, how are you?
Oh, so good to see you twice this week. Oh,
yes,
fantastic.
A privilege on my part.
Oh, come on. Privilege is all mine here, especially to have you both on the screen on this Feel Good Friday morning. Superb. Are you staying with us then to look at this What's Under the Flying Carpet episode this morning?
I'll be here for a few minutes, and then I'm going off to help take down a yurt.
Of course you are. Of course.
I actually need to send Krusty there for me because I'll be in the show and I can only join afterwards. But I'm happy to be here, pack up all the luggage and baggage with you guys, and then pack down a yurt, a big piece of luggage.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know you're something in the alternative central Portugal world when you could send other people to do your yurt dismantling, which is what you're doing, clearly. You're a part of a yurt dismantling party this morning, or you should have been, Jenny.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
this is quite amazing. Well, make sure you don't crush my tofu, which is carefully stowed in the yurt, and my and my incense stash. So
we made sure we wrapped that nicely in your little beauty case that you also left there.
Don't tell everybody about my little beauty case.
It's so sweet.
Is it part of my luggage or part of my baggage? I wonder. We're going to find out today, aren't we? No, did you have a new moon party, you crazy cats there in central Portugal? What is a new moon party? Do you want to, or would you rather not talk about it?
Oh, it was beautiful, but in that case, I think I'm going to pass on the word to Krusty because I'm biased, you know.
Oh, okay. Were you the hostess of the new moon party?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what went on? If people want to become, I suppose, how would we describe this? A little bit more in tune with the rhythms of nature. I guess that's part of it. What would they do? How can they go about this festivity?
I can answer the second part, but for the first one, I'll leave that to Krusty.
Well, I can say that what Jenny B did was she invited some of her dearest friends and new members of her community, and we all got together in a circle, introduced ourselves, and talked about what animal we might feel like we are to get a bit closer to the natural rhythm of life.
Ooh.
And spent time setting intentions for a better world. It was a really beautiful evening with beautiful people. Met a lot of new people, and a lot of other people met each other. It was great. It was amazing. It really was. Jenny is an excellent connector and harmonizer of life, love, and aspirations and inspirations.
Oh, you're getting me started again already this morning, 5 minutes in. Yes, absolutely. May I second that? And that sounds wonderful. And the significance, presumably, because it's the new moon, your intentions are cast into the universe with the growing light. Is that right?
Yeah. You know, I've learned, I don't know much about all that, but I know that new moon is the best time to put in your wishes into the universe. But as I wanted to make sure we're not doing it from the ego human perspective, to make sure that, you know, we take all the beings in that part of the nature that we are also part of. And so it was really a beautiful way to become a representative for a different life form and add their perspective to the manifest that we've created, and then we've sent this out into the universe, so now it can do its thing.
I could feel something. I'm sure I awoke from my slumbers with you stirring it up over there in that part of the world. And you know, it's funny you should say that. It's very interesting with the becoming the animal persona. Some people still think that the world revolves around human beings.
Mm.
Don't they?
Claudia said something so beautiful yesterday, I think it was. She said so many people still live on top of the world instead of with the world.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness, so much value already this morning. Uncle Crusty, thank you for joining in. Is it another party when you take down a yurt? Is there going to be I don't know, muesli involved or something like that?
Well, I suggested to bulk up with porridge before we go. Bulk up with porridge, and then we are nicely supplied over there. That's the good thing. You just go there and do a bit of work with some friends, and then you're spoiled with food and love and presents, and yeah.
It's quite a scene because one could be forgiven for thinking that you are quite reclusive, dwelling in the woods of central Portugal. But there is a vibrant scene. Can you give us some indication of that? I do get asked the question a lot, Jenny, about intentional communities. What's going on of a more alternative nature. Why are you laughing? What's funny about that?
Because with the intentional communities, it's so funny. I speak about that with my partner also very often, because I find community is really just a different expression for the village spirit that we all had once.
Yes.
And we seem to have lost so drastically in just 100 years. Now we really seem to have problems to live with each other. And for me, that's a lot of that is just based on the human ego perspectives that we have so often, and the lack of ability to look behind that.
Yes.
And go into the observer perspective that you need in life, whether you live with people or you live without people. But there are, of course, I found, and that was the reason why I wanted to make this gathering as well. I found a lot of beautiful people sit in their own place and speak about the things they spoke about in the place where they originally lived, and now they do it here, for example, in Portugal, but still nothing really happens. We all dream of this wonderful new world where we all live together in peace, love, and harmony. But yeah, we all dream secretly about that at home, and even sometimes it's hard to open up to that to other people, because they ultimately might think you're a weirdo or a hippie or whatever. And I thought, nah, this needs to change. So we need to gather all these people. And it was so interesting also to find that I have actually not moved physically, but at the same time, I have a whole new bunch of people around me. They have all been here all the time. It's just that it didn't seem as if our timelines were yet to be coordinated. And now the time is right for us to connect. The slug has returned. Uh-oh.
We're on the same wavelength. I just we will say hello to everybody and cover all these comments. But that's such a fascinating insight, Jenny. They were all there with those thoughts, but it took somebody to invite them to be in the same place to make that manifest, or to begin the manifestation process by actually bringing out of people's heads and into where their feet are touching, possibly, or they are linking in their arms and hands, holding hands, and making this happen. That's fascinating. So you are, as Uncle Krusty said there, you're the catalyst of some of this activity going on in central Portugal. What's the scene like then for people who are thinking about where to be and where they might find the most sort of alternative thing? I mean, that's an irony here, isn't it? That you're talking about people living in peace, love, and harmony, and that's almost seen as an alternative pursuit now, rather than a mainstream concern. Isn't that an irony? Go do your peace, love, and harmony thing somewhere quiet. We're trying to get on with running the modern world here.
It's so annoying, all this peace.
So annoying, all this
disturbing my turmoil in the head. Yeah.
So what's the vibe like? Do you think more and more people are arriving in central Portugal to do that? Is it to do with the Tomar Templarios ley lines or something? What's going on?
I don't know what's going on, but there seems to be.
That's
I
really
don't
honest.
have a single clue.
Right, not a Scooby-Doo.
I can
Right.
make something up if you
Oh,
want,
yeah,
but
we'll make something up. That'd be great. Go on. Because it'll be good. We know it'll be good. It'll be divinely inspired.
Okay, wait. So the thing is, in Portugal, there's this energy hub, and this is where all our light souls are now gathering. And it particularly happens in the cross junction of the ley lines between Tomar, Sintra, and
Cascais.
the Serras, Cascais.
That big shopping centre in Lisbon.
Yes, right there.
Yes.
It goes right through there. Now, to answer your question, for those who are seeking, it will find you. It's like anything in life. The harder you try to achieve it, if it's not part of your plan, I'm never going to go there. So just sit back, relax, and radiate the love that you are, and keep manifesting whatever you want to attract in your life. And don't forget, if you want to attract love into your life, you need to give love. If you want to attract money into your life, you need to give money. If you want to attract any other thing in your life, you need to give it and live it, and then it comes back. That's called the law of attraction. Please note that down.
Please write this down. So, and you can reverse engineer that, can't you? So if you're thinking, why am I getting these results in life? It might be because that's what you're giving out. If we turn it the other way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do people keep slamming doors in my face? There's something not quite right here. Okay.
Is it my face? Oh.
Why is my nose so flat? There are good reasons for that. Okay, all right. Let's see who's saying hello, because I'm sure a lot of people are. That would have been Sithed, but that's another story, not Scythed. This is some interesting alternative German being spoken here. I think Vom dir and a Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. No, I think Guten Morgen.
He's not awake yet.
He's not quite there with his coffee. And then Gut Morgen. We know what you mean, everyone. You nearly got there.
Gut Morgen. Maybe it's a gut Morgen. Maybe he spends a lot of time on the toilet.
It's Gut Morgen for the medical help as well this morning. And what is this? Some proper Portuguese. The Portuguese are talking to each other. Here, if our fellow Gumpers can translate this. Okay, so there's a challenge, I think, for the Gumpers. João F saying to Antonio F, bom dia, parceiro. A equipa F, Team F, está aqui outra vez para que der via. Stop it. I'm doing my best here. So can you translate that? Some people do watch just for that. Seeing the English guy struggle speaking Portuguese. There might be a compilation tape on at Christmas for those of you who really enjoy that. Bon dia, Carlos and everyone. Love Jen's Friday with added Uncle Crusty this morning. So good to see you. Desculpa, todos gotta go. Mrs. M is in the studio reminding me it's she puts the sex in Seshta for hair, everybody. Mrs. M, as well as hot tea on my arm. Welcome Jenny B this morning. Yeah, she spilled hot tea on my arm, so I'm suffering with that, but the show must go on.
Oh, Carl.
It was
let's all take a moment to give Carl a bit of love and healing. Come on, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
that feels instantly better. That's quite extraordinary. Thank you, everybody, for that. Welcome, Jenny B, this morning. That was a kind of virtual kiss it better, and we all love that, don't we? Because what I want to buy is only available in Matosinhos. Would anyone care to guess what that might be? A special kind of sardine, possibly. But we're talking about IKEA, I think, or IKEA, depending on how you like to say it. Okay. Here we go. We're having another go at this now. Guten Morgen für euch auch. Euch auch. Liebe Genossen. Good morning to you, dear comrades there. Okay. Sounding quite East German, I think, this morning. Jenny B, were you able to get that property for the Rainbow Guardians? Oh, we'll have an update then. You said you have time for the deal till June, so now it's July. Do you want an update on that now?
Yeah, just this morning I thought about, do I do an update now or do I do it next month? But as I go with the flow, and here is the question, I might do the update now. Funny, because we just spoke about that yesterday.
Absolutely.
And the very, very, very good news is that the deal with the property is that the guy could not support me with money, so he offered me to use that property, and I got the entitlement to use that for 10 years for the kids project, which is absolutely amazing if you think about it.
Absolutely.
And it's part of my manifest actually for years, but it's getting better. I'm getting quicker. So I really had this idea and dream at the end of the day that I will not need to purchase a property, that there will be somebody who just allows me to use some land to do the project.
Yeah.
And that is happening, and I use the beautiful generous donations that I received from mainly people here from this beautiful expats Portugal crowd to drill a hole for a borehole to get water, because we all know no life without water.
Yep.
And funny enough, yesterday we used that water to water the plants.
We did. Absolutely.
That's all fully operational.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Fully operational. Superb. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. And now we're only waiting for the digger to come in 3 weeks to get all the connections down in the ground. So we're not running around with hoses that are like 100 meters long.
Yeah.
And yeah, do I do that now?
I think so. I think you should talk about Caterpillar project.
Yeah. So Uncle Crusty is one of the little ones that got a little insight in one of my latest
developments,
extensions of the manifest, which is actually an original. But so my idea was always that to, at the end of the day, travel with the Rainbow Guardians project. I told you that I wanted to be a mandatory subject in all educational institutions worldwide. That is a big job, and I know I could do it. And I thought, maybe, that's the 50-year project. But life is different, and how do you say? Life is happening whilst you're making plans.
Exactly.
And there it was, all of a sudden, right in front of me, the absolute perfect vehicle for bringing Rainbow Guardians in the world and on the road. And it's so cool. It's like one of the most coolest engineering pieces I've ever seen. It's basically a Caterpillar caravan that is on a tiny trailer, and it's only 750 kilos and 4 square meters, but you can push a little button and then it expands like a caterpillar and it becomes 12 square meters, fully equipped, solar and everything.
It does that noise as well. Yes.
Also,
yes.
It does that noise. And then rainbows are coming out. No, I'm still working on that feature.
You might have to add that bit as you look at it. Yeah, I see them. Can you see the rainbows? Yeah, I can see the rainbows. Yes.
Then you have the Rainbow Guardian certificate. When you see the rainbows, you get
fact check. Okay, but that's such a good idea. That is such a good idea.
And now I'm telling you this because you know how limited my finances are, because I put it all out into the project. The crazy thing about this, it's like a once in a lifetime deal. And I was really holding back, but after speaking about this with Uncle Crusty, was like, you should do it. I'm telling you,
yes, Uncle Crusty,
I'm telling you, this incredible masterpiece of engineering is originally 42,000 euros the way it's built, brand new. It comes with a lot of stuff, solar panels, a bike rack, this crazy expansion. So when you put it together, the furniture actually folds in another.
What?
And then it falls back apart. It's like this mobile, cool, connective classroom that we could use perfectly for that project. Yeah. Now, the thing is, this deal is so crazy because it's a family. They have used it to live their dream, but they have moved on from Portugal to somewhere else, and now they're selling it. And I've just seen it on a property where I helped somebody to develop the forest school they're doing there. And I was like, what is that? That's such a cool thing. And I looked around and admired it already. And I could picture the logo, my Rainbow Guardians logo would nicely fit there. And one day after that, I received a message through a group from these people that they are selling this caravan. And I'm like, so, and I was like, oh my God, I can never afford that. It's far too expensive. But because they see the fact that it's now just standing around here and it's no value for anyone and it's not getting any better. So the crazy deal is that the price new was 42,000 euros and it's only 2 years old. The only thing I saw was a little scratch on one window and now they're selling it for 18,000. That is less than half. So guys, if you want to support Rainbow Guardians, if you want me to get down on the road, and if you want me to spread that all over the world and be a part of this adventure, I need you now.
Okay, I'm seeing this as that's amazing. And I'm seeing this, in Portugal, you could just go to the local Parque de Merendas picnic area, couldn't you?
Exactly.
Rock up, everyone bring and share food, and then you do your thing, and you press the button and the rainbows come out and everything. And there we go. Rainbow Guardians on the road, the first step to being everywhere around the world with a fleet of such vehicles. Quite extraordinary. And it tells us, doesn't it, you mentioned the law of attraction before, and the human desire to know exactly how things are going to work rather than just sticking with what you want. And what you wanted was the access to the world, I guess. Yeah. And it was provided in this particular way, in a way you couldn't have imagined or written down, presumably. So those are what Phil calls the cursed hows. You don't have to bother with those, do you? The universe, you might say, is trying to help you, and it delivers in a way you might not expect. You just need to know what.
Yeah, and it's interesting because then I'm there in my tiny little world and thinking and feeling all about this, and more or less accidentally, these things don't happen. But I was just like sharing it with Crusty, going like, yeah, you see this? And he was like, yeah, good luck to that. And then we spoke about it yesterday again, and
amazing.
Beautiful. Maybe next month you can show some pictures of the trailer so people have an idea of what it's about, and also shoot some pictures of the borehole setup with the pressure tank so people know the progress you're making on the land.
Yeah,
good
really
plan.
Cool.
Yes, let's see some
and
pictures.
The tree that you and Luisa were planting also. Yeah, it's really nicely sprouting.
Is it? It's sprouting. Yeah. Oh, that's nice to know. That's nice
really
to know.
nice.
It'd be lovely to see pictures, and you don't have to wait until next month. Send the pictures in, I can show them in between. Oh, sending them now.
If Krusty keeps on talking, I can send pictures.
All right. Yes, well, Uncle Krusty, before we get onto this matter of flying carpets and after the luggage comes the baggage, how's your Portuguese journey going? You popped in briefly on our live stream from the meetup on Wednesday. Can you tell the folks in this environment, how's it going for you with your journey previously in Hawaii, now in Portugal? Yeah, how's it going for you both?
Claudia and I did come from Kauai, the garden island of the Hawaii Islands, and we're having a fantastic time. It's as I told you, to me it's like a Douglas Adams novel. Instead of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, it's the Hitchhiker's Guide to Portugal.
Yeah,
the road is not straight, but it is a wonderful road, and the people are very kind. And the expats out in central Portugal are amazing. Ginny's out here helping to create community amongst people that, as anywhere, if you live out in a rural area, it's always good to have support. And today it's like an Amish barn raising. Instead of raising the barn, we're lowering the yurt so these folks can move on to another property.
Incredible.
It's really, we're having a great time.
Oh, that's good to know. And I know part of your project plan is to be a grower yourself and to grow plants. How's that looking? Will you know it when you find it, or have you got a bit of a spec that you can share with people?
Yeah, we'll know it when we find it. We originally thought we would settle somewhere in the north part of the Algarve, and due to water issues, at least the way that I see them, I don't think it's a long-term feasible plan for us. So we're traveling up to the central, as we are in right now, to the central part of Portugal, and then up farther north to look for land. And Claudia and I are both medicinal herbalists, so part of our plan is to grow some rare and endangered herbal plants and create a kind of a sustainable education center around that.
Wow.
We need that shit.
We do. What? We do.
Yeah.
We definitely need those things in our lives and that connection. That sounds wonderful. Okay, so I am being sent pictures of a caterpillar vehicle. It is actually like a caterpillar, isn't it? I'll bring it up on the screen now. This is magical technology, where there Jenny B is in rural Portugal, sending me through the latest technology pictures of the latest development of the project. Now, Matty, you wanted an update. You got an update on the Rainbow Guardians, and there it is. That's the next step of that is an extraordinary thing, isn't it? Is it a trailer? Do you drive it, or is it a trailer?
It's a trailer, so you can attach it to a car, which is great because you can just leave it there for the time you're doing the project. Yes. And then you can take it to anywhere else. It's so easy to set up. It's really just pushing this button. It's got everything you need. So even if it's shitty outside, you could still go inside with the kids or the parents or the grandparents or whoever like to join.
How many people can you get in there?
Well, it depends on the people.
Okay.
But a lot of grumpies.
A lot of grumpies fit in there. And also, please be careful, Jenny. When you get this vehicle, can you make sure everyone's out of it before you push the button? Just a little.
I'm going to make a reminder outside.
Yes.
On the door.
Okay, yes. Please clear the area when the concertina action is in full force. That's quite extraordinary. Okay, so maybe the support and counselling of the kind we're talking can be part of the funding for the kids. So I suppose the older generation who may be interested in services to help them be happy here in Portugal can then, oh, here we go, bubble time. Yes. Can be subsidizing this new vehicle, a new part of the adventure of the Rainbow Guardians. Incredible. There you go. There's your update, Matty. So it is now time to, I'm sure we'll return to this and we'll see. Actually, we haven't done your comments justice yet. We'll come on to what's under the flying carpet in just a moment.
Do some comments because I'm still searching for the video of the photos from the fountain.
Okay, all right, okay, got it. I'll cover. Okay, so there we go. We got the update there, and you can pick up a Joel apparently in Matosinhos as well. Yeah, bring Joel back. Bring Joel back to the Silver Coast. Abduct him down to this. I'd love to meet him in real life. The IKEA in Lisboa is near the big Leroy Merlin. Inside Leroy's is the Aquarius Cafe. Oh, I think we got a little tip. The Aquarius Cafe. That sounds positive, doesn't it? In this age of Aquarius, everybody. If you are doing morning beers, why wait till the end? Indeed. Okay, so I'm being encouraged to drink probably around 9 o'clock next Thursday morning for the first time in a year. That could be interesting. Bon dia, still in the Cotswolds. How you doing, Jeff? How about a picture from you and your lovely ass? Donkeys, everybody, don't get excited. If you're into donkeys, get excited. But so Jeff may well send me a pic on WhatsApp as well of the donkeys there. Had to go to the translators to see what you two local lads were scheming, says James. That's the Antonio and the Joao F. The Aquarius Cafe apparently does the best rissoish camarão in Lisboa. That is good to know. Do love a rissoish camarão myself. Always remember that as what's prawn? What's prawn? David Cameron. Yes, camarão. Flattening out. What's that? Is that a comment about what happens when you stay inside the trailer? I don't know. Missed last night's webinar again. Matty, you missed it too. What happened to everybody last night? It was very busy despite that. Missed last night's webinar again. That's twice in a row that I RSVP'd and did not show up. We will begin to think you're very rude, Matty, if you continue to RSVP and then not show up, but I suspect you had a good reason. Or is that me being overly British? I suspect it is. You have to demolish it before you rebuild it. Okay, this is building back better. So yes, some of those, the powers that should not be are doing a very good job of demolishing it before building it back better, you could say. Term comrades, as I use it, has no political meaning whatsoever. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. This is how we treat our brothers in arms in the Portuguese armed forces, particularly the Portuguese Navy, which I'm proud of having served in. Okay, so comrades used in that context there. And yes, you. Oh yeah, we had the best magazine in the world comment. You are watching the best feel-good show, the best feel-good show in the world. We can say, because we just said it. And the webinar. Okay, this is where I got to before I realized I'd missed many comments. And I think we have lots of greetings for you, Jenny, and Uncle Krusty here. Okay, and here, what's this? And here, I thought I was the only one to have taken that photo. Which photo is that? At least they didn't include GDP. What's that with the Building Back Better and Demolition? The GDP, the GMP. Hi, dear Jenny, from Michelle in Australia. How about that? Our reach is all over the world. This greatest show on the planet. I've escalated it now. Reach is all over the planet. Yes, all of us beings connected. Thank you, Jen, for that reminder. It is literally a cosmic connection. To quote Carl Sagan, we are made of star stuff. Yes, and I take pride in being a weirdo. We have noticed. Bob's here. Bob is here because you're here, Jenny B. I'm sure of that. Karen and I, morning, Bob and Karen, watching, and we have a wonderful time with Jenny and friends this week. Excellent. Jim White, also pleased to see you here. Yes, star stuff. A lot to put our minds around, and then it's humbling indeed. Yes. What's this? Oh, somebody's being naughty here, aren't they? Okay. Well, don't just talk about it. Get on with it. Morning all from Connie this morning. Let's see how. Should we see how this ends up? I don't know. Let's just see where that might go for the moment. Okay. The Isle of Wight. Generosity begets abundance. I don't think it's Isle of Wight in that context, is it? What I should know that. I'm thinking as soon as he tells us what that IOW means, it's like, oh, silly me, of course it was. I've done another comment jump, loads more coming in from the other parallel universes. Here we go. Here's some German for you. You can do this, Jenny.
Ich liebe dich hier wieder zu sehen. Du bist ein Atemzug frischer Luft zu dieser Show. Ich hoffe, irgendwann mal dich persönlich kennenzulernen, wenn du nichts dagegen hast.
I couldn't agree more, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you very much. Igualmente. Okay, that's one way of putting it, Deagle. Give what you have, and your life will be abundant and overflowing. And Victoria spoke to, yes, I'm feeling it. Yesterday, Victoria was leaving for Spain. Look at this. And now all it's taken is for her to arrive in Spain and start speaking Spanish immediately. Don't hate me. Portugal. Oh, look at this. This is brilliant. Portugal is my husband, but Spain is my lover. Woo! Okay. Superb. Well, okay. Just between you and me then, or you and us there, Victoria. That's really very good. Victoria, what? I wish it was the other way around. How is it the Spain is the best part? Okay, brilliant. Bon dia, campus from Sarah. And hello, Sarah. And yes, this law of attraction has sparked many comments and insights here. Once your intentions are clear, the universe delivers big time. So we'll return to this on our theme this morning of, after the luggage comes the baggage, and wherever you go, there you are. But not until we've said hello to everybody. Look, c'est la vie with that orientation. Portugal is the husband. And Antonio, thank you, querido. I am fabulous, he will say. Look at that. Or what happens with you, Antonio? Oh, no, I hope everything's okay with Antonio. Okay, Kawaii Pandas is in, just lurking today, trying to take in the good messages and vibes. Kawaii Pandas, you're fairly new to this community, but I think you're very comfortable here, it would appear. Uncle Krusty, thank you for what you're doing from Joao F there as well. Superb. And Connie's in. Yeah, Connie and Hank. I saw a video of this trailer from a camping show. I think it's made either in France or Germany. That's this
France.
It's a French design.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
French, and built. I think it's also built in France.
French built. Okay.
Yeah. I've inhaled the technical data of that after I saw it for like 1 hour. I was just like,
Is this something about being German and loving engineering? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It's in me. Yeah, I must say that it's badass cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is in that photo? Have you been stealing pipeline sections? It's not made of big pipe, is it? Okay, all right. Don't give away.
Actually, just that big. But then you push the button, and then it becomes huge.
And oil comes out. Giving new use to the Nord Stream pipeline section. Stop it! I tell you. Pete, Malaga was wonderful. On the move again. Yeah, we are. We can show pictures of. We can show pictures of Spain as well. Not too many, of course. We don't want other people having affairs with Spain. We are getting a sofa bed and stuff. What is a jol? What is a jol? Have you got a picture that we can show? Please, for Baddy. Off on the road now. Have a wonderful weekend. Yeah, bon fin de semana to you as well. Oh, in other words, not Isle of Wight. What comes out of cows back? What's brown and comes out of cows backwards, steaming? The Isle of Wight ferry. I guess you had to be there. You had to be there. Cows is the port in the Isle of Wight. I guess you figured that out, right? Is a joint wife and husband D7 application form possible? Jenny, I'll give you that visa question.
Yeah, let me just check with my secretary. Yeah, no, it's not possible, unfortunately. It's only the D6. The D6 is possible, but not the D7, no. D6B, it is particularly.
Alfred, take no notice, Alfred. But join us on Monday, please. And no, you have to apply separately. Is the right answer, Jenny? But please consult with the expert. That's what she meant to say. She was struggling to translate grumpy language there for a minute.
Yeah.
Is a joint wife and husband application possible? Yes. No, it's not. And do join us on Monday. Get the professional view from Gilda. Hola, Jenny B. How are you doing? Okay, I saw a bean there. Finally, for now. Oh, Alfred is here. Yes, thank you. And yes, join us on Monday. I saw a meme on beer in Portugal, and Sagres was the wife, and Superboc was the mistress. Interesting. We cannot possibly support such behavior, such inauthenticity and dishonesty, can we? But we can still have a good laugh about it. Okay. Only 20 minutes to go or thereabouts. We've been pretty busy already this morning talking about the laws of attraction, the bigger picture of the universe. And we wanted to talk about this morning about after the luggage comes the baggage. What have you been thinking about this, Jenny, since we thought we might talk about it when we put this idea to each other yesterday?
Before I share that, I need to get rid of a bit of my luggage.
Yes.
Crusty needs to get cracking.
Time to go.
But I didn't just, we need to give him an according bye-bye before he leaves as to be part of our show.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Uncle Crusty. Really great to see you on the screen. Lovely to know you're in Portugal.
Thank you. And much aloha and lava love to all the gumpers out there. Take care.
And our love to everybody who is dismantling the yurt. I love the Amish analogy. I don't know what you'll be drinking instead of lashings of freshly made lemonade. Probably kombucha, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Kombucha by the host. Absolutely. You got it. You nailed it.
Now, don't let that put you off, anybody who's thinking of going to a yurt dismantling. You don't have to drink the kombucha. One step at a time. Might just be fresh spring water.
Absolutely. Work your way up with lemons.
All of that.
Take care.
Uncle Crusty, love to Claudia and everyone at the yurt party. Take care, my friend. Ciao.
Thank you.
Take care.
Please.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
All right, Jenny B, wherever you go, there you are. The other side. I was going to call it the dark side. Let's not call it.
Come on.
Let's call it the other side of
the other side.
Other side. And I think we've alluded to it before, haven't we? You know, there's only so many brunches and mornings out of coffees and pastel de natas when you realize your dream. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking it, but there comes a moment, doesn't there? It's like, maybe there's a bit more. Or some of those things I would have preferred to leave behind me, some of those thoughts, some of those occurrences in my life that were repeating themselves that I hoped I'd left behind in the old place are happening to me again here. Why is that?
Do you know, it's funny because even when you just mentioned the other side, the dark side, it kind of ties into all that. And in terms of first the baggage, then the luggage, and what you just described so nicely, and we can probably all relate to that, whether it was the move to Portugal or just down the road.
Yes, indeed. Yes, new job, new relationship. It's all
Anything.
transferable, isn't it? Yeah.
Anything, and sometimes it really has its time and place, and anyway everything happens for a reason. But we might have all had the situation already that we've noticed, oh, I can't run away from myself actually. So and
Wherever
there
I
they
go,
come.
there I am. Yes, indeed.
There
Yeah.
they come, all the thoughts, all the maybe limiting behavioral patterns that you don't like so much about yourself, the being hangry or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is the luggage, and that's the dark side at the same time. And that is really to be embraced. I cannot emphasize this more often, that your biggest light lies in your darkest shadow.
Uh-huh.
And if you won't, at least in my experience and all the others that I do speak about that or feel into it, then it's if you can't accept that on yourself, how can you accept that on anybody else? And if these thoughts are coming back, if you notice, I can't run away from myself, oh, now there it is again, you probably notice there's no point in just leaving again. I mean, so many people, what happens is you might be super unsatisfied with your life situation in wherever you're living. And then you think like, yeah, Portugal sounds good to me. Cool vibe, cool people, sunshine, cheap, pastel de natas. Yeah, I'm going to go there. And then you're here, and what Carl was saying at the beginning, you're like, look at that. I can just sit here nice at the beachfront, have my coffee, just check out the Portuguese people. And you might drive around a bit, visit that or the other place, get some people to know. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and again. And then when that distraction is over, that entertainment that's different from where you came from, then the thoughts kick back in. Then the behavioral patterns kick back in. And you're like, how can this possibly happen?
Yes, I moved away from that.
Exactly. I moved on from that.
Yeah.
And I always say, it's not hard to change. The hard thing is not to change back.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's like, and it's also okay. We might like to want to take on a different behavioral pattern. Like, let's say, for example, in my case, I'm such a pleaser. So when I have people here in a gathering, for example, I really need to make sure that I stay with me and focus on, what is my thing in that moment.
Yep.
And not trying to make sure that everyone is okay. They can all wipe their ass themselves, so they don't need me to look after them.
Well, that's a relief, yes.
Yeah, and it is. If you think about it, at the end of the day, we're all still self-responsible. So often we put so much energy into pleasing others, not so much for their comfort, much more for our own comfort, knowing, okay, they're comfortable, so I don't need to worry. At the end, it's much more egoistic than it appears. And these things, they're not going to get any better if you're not changing something on it. Of course, you can always say, this and that person, I don't know. It's always, then I don't know how to handle them, and they always do that, and around them I always feel like that, and but at the end, it's really about taking the time with yourself to check in. Where do these thoughts come from? Where do these feelings come from? And is that really me? Because that is so often the case. We identify so much with our thoughts and our personality, but we are more than that. You're not your thoughts, you're the thinker of your thoughts. So you can choose. Most of the time, we think 70% of the days we think the same thoughts that we think every day. And if they're negatively based, what we had earlier, law of attraction, this is what you get.
Yes.
But on the other way, you can just flip it. Every thought, you have the chance to say, I don't like that thought, so I don't need to hold on to it. At the end, they're all like clouds. And sometimes you have a more cloudy day, sometimes they're a bit gray, and sometimes it's just bright blue sky. And it's okay. All of that has its place. And we need the cloudy days to embrace the shiny days. And we need the shiny days to embrace the cloudy days. And all that baggage, if you don't look at it as something heavy in the sense that you need to drag with you, but if you just think about for a second, allowing yourself the opportunity just to leave it there on a really safe place where you can always come back to anytime you wish. But leave it there and maybe just do 3 or 4 steps ahead in a different direction and feel how that feels without the baggage. And then you can turn around, have a look at it, and still choose whether you'd like to go back and carry it with you, because sometimes it might feel a bit terrifying to go without the baggage, because what then? If I don't carry that anymore, what then?
Yes, indeed. And James, I think, has a great understanding of this and often tells us in these 3 words: notice, choose, and act, which is what you seem to be saying. But don't forget to celebrate as well.
Yeah.
And it's not the thing. Thank you, Jenny, for that articulation. It's not the thing in itself. It's a thing in relation to something else. This is duality and relativity. And I suppose some people might be watching and thinking, well, I don't want to do this. I think there are consequences for not doing it, and that's not a threat or to make anyone's life harder. But I think we probably all know this from our own experience, don't we? If we don't, that's one of the great and difficult things about being a human. I think if this is going on, if there are things that are going on, maybe we can look at some symptoms of if it is going on. Oh, that's not me. I think there are symptoms that can help us understand how and where it's going on. The problem, of course, is if people aren't dealing with these things, everyone else can tell anyway. It seems to be a secret, doesn't it? But these secrets are so toxic. And this is Louise interviewed a guy called Joe Delaney. He's a great video a great interview that she's done with him. He used to be an alcoholic, and in his life was pretty much run and ruined by alcohol addiction. And he turned his life around in a certain time, and he's the most extraordinary individual. And he talks a lot about this, about the secrets we keep and how toxic and harmful they are, and how we can kind of dysfunctionally manage them, which I think causes the problems. That's what I mean by what's under the flying carpet. You're on the top of the flying carpet. Here we come. We're coming into land on our magical journey into Portugal. But underneath the carpet, waiting to be unpacked or waiting to take you by surprise later, are the things that are unresolved in our lives that we're possibly running from in this context of migration. And I think one of the symptoms, Joe Delaney's secrets. It's very poisonous to be harboring secrets and thinking like we've got it all figured out and not acknowledging these things, for one thing. And I think one of the most interesting symptoms of this condition that we're talking about, of not creating that space, not noticing, choosing, and acting, is it will be externalized, won't it? I think you alluded to it. Why do I not want to hang out with those people? Why don't I like those people? What's going? So, and then you say it's them, not me. Yeah. And then you can externalize that onto Portugal itself, can't we? Yeah. So this place was so great when I first arrived, and now this is happening and that's happening, and often it's that's it right there, isn't it? Your stuff is expressing itself, because all that happened is you're in a different culture, and the finances office shut 5 minutes early, and you went into a meltdown possibly, and then you went on Facebook and you wrote an article, a blog, and got mad and got in a massive fight with people on Facebook. And all that happened was that finances shut 5 minutes early. And those are the sort of symptoms, aren't they? Where you could just say, well, Portugal sucks. Or you could say, actually, there's something about my behavior that sucks, that's undermining and poisoning me and my chances. Before you respond to that, we have a very important question here. Can you post the link for PayPal for the Rainbow Warriors, please? So does this still work?
Yes, that still works. Perfect. Thank you so much, Carl.
I'll leave it on the screen, everybody, at the end. There is a QR code there that is covered up by your own comment there, Jill Davis. But thank you so much for. I will make sure everything's out of the way so that you can see that properly. There are ways to support what looks like the purchase of the new Caterpillar vehicle. But anyway, for now, back to the after the luggage comes the baggage. What I guess the timescales vary for people, don't they? And how well people are able to just keep avoiding it, possibly, right?
And Carl, as human beings, we have such a crazy super talent for 100,000 creative ways to self-sabotage.
Yes, indeed.
It's fabulous. But once you can kind of see through this and again detach from your own thoughts and from that personality that you identify with that has these behavioral patterns that you don't welcome, let's say, then of course, how can you will never make friends with them if you still reject them. And that's with all the wounds that we carry. And that's exactly that stuff underneath the flying carpet that you talk about. And sadly enough, I remember there was this sign at my hairdresser's when I still needed one. And it was saying, back in the days, you had a psychologist. Now you have a hairdresser. I should have not said that now. Now everyone goes to the hairdresser and stop booking me. But no, the thing is, when did that actually happen? That we stopped calling our friends when we're feeling shit?
Yeah.
When did that change? That we only reach out to people to tell them how good we are feeling right now and that everything is great and the whole lot. And when you actually need a friend, you're not there to call because you're afraid of the judgment or whatever. And that's sad. So that's one thing. Reach out. We're all vulnerable. And the only way to be brave is to be vulnerable. That's the only way. You cannot get around that. And what you were... Huh?
Yes. Sorry, carry on.
Just that one thing. It's mostly inevitable to have that wave of luggage that comes after the baggage when you do such a radical change of lifestyle.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you think about that, so many of us, a big reason why we've moved was the stressful life that we've had before. Yeah. So here it was really to come here in our case, because we all share Portugal now, or Victoria, now you're in Spain, whatever, you know what I mean, guys. The thing is that then when this big stressor and a lot that kept our energy, if that's gone, then there's actually capacity and space for the stuff underneath the carpet to come up.
Yes, indeed.
And in that moment, of course, that feels shit. That's really shit. But, and it might even feel like a wave you're not able to handle because all of a sudden it's there. But let me tell you this. The first time is always the hardest. But once you see that actually it's such a blessing because now you and your physical body and your mental body and your emotions, you're in such a state of trust that this information is presented to you to become resolved.
Yes.
Because otherwise you would not get it. Your soul, nobody, no spirit wants to torture you. It's all just for your benefit. It's all for your good. And then it's a matter of what you said. Are you facing it? And that seems to be harder initially. But on the long run, and you have that once you've had this first experience, you notice, it takes so much less energy to actually look at it when it's there. Yes. Instead of trying to push it down and trying to avoid to look at it, because here's the news, it's not going to disappear. Wherever you go, it will just evolve in its communication. Your body is always there, and your body is always expressing whatever there is disbalanced in you, in your physically or mentally. And usually it stems from here somewhere in the mindset.
Yeah.
And then if you ignore that, your body is just getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And cancer in depth is a massive internal conflict that you have just not been managing to resolve on a metaphysical level. And that's why the only chance your body has is to accumulate these cells to hold that energy of that conflict.
Well, to protect
because
you.
it doesn't know where to go.
Yeah. Wow.
But the good news is knowing that emotions are energy in motion and these conflicts are energy in motion, you and you alone have the capacity to move that. And if it's stupid, silly shit, like I keep telling you, shake it off. If something's bugging you, just shake it off. Scream it off. Just don't fucking care what others think. Just do whatever feels good to you. And what you think, what you feel is right. And let me tell you this is exactly right for you. And that might look completely different for Carl than it does for me. And completely different to anybody else you know. And that's fine. Because that is the individualism and the uniqueness that we should all embrace in one another. And not trying to live a copy and be just like my neighbor or just like Katy Perry or just like whoever else you'd like to be.
On my own perfect vision of myself. That's often the way, isn't it? Is people have this idea of themselves, which is unsustainable, unattainable, and becomes actually a punishment in the end.
Yeah.
And it's been informed by many things over time. But here's the chance, folks, to take a look at that. I think so. Verdad, preach, Jenny, preach. Absolutely right. That's why she's here on the first Friday of every month. Let's see what's being said. James, loving this, of course. Notice you've got baggage. Choose to unpack it or not, or whatever you want to do with it. Actually do what you've chosen. Take the action, yes, to open up with a friend or with a professional. It can be very helpful. And isn't this interesting? I was a stylist for over 20 years. True story. I now say my work passion is the same. I still mess around with people's heads. I just don't mess with their hair. Lonnie's the same, isn't it? Lonnie's was a hairstylist as well. Interestingly, I think people who do want to be hairdressers are very fascinated, not only with hair but people as well. It's a matter of this is happening for me. Here's another reframe that could be useful. It's happening for me, not to me. And of course, those situations you describe, if your heart sinks when you're going into a situation or a person, it could be them, but it's probably something going on inside you as well that's happening for you to see, why is this so uncomfortable? Why is this so unsustainably and so awkwardly uncomfortable every time? What's the pattern here? Why is it bothering me so much? What is the bother? Where is that coming from? Which isn't just an interesting way to start the conversation with yourself or with the help of other people. God starts with a whisper, then a tap on the shoulder, and then a 2x4 to the noggin. We've all been there. We've all felt that on the back of the head, haven't we? Whoops, bleeper, didn't we? I was a bit slow on that, yeah. I'm very calm this morning. Very good. Good for you. Perhaps I need to do a Friday session. Well, I don't know. Here's an alternative, because you could just go and relieve yourself in a different. But it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, and this is a really good example, isn't it? That we know that getting in the body in that way, the senses, sex addiction, is this distraction, isn't it? Diversion. There's no question that making love is a beautiful thing, but it can also be quite a dysfunctional thing as well if it's just where you lose yourself or have nicer feelings temporarily than the ones you might not want to be dealing with or speaking about or taking. Go on, Jen.
Sorry, go on.
James is saying when we stop comparing our insides to others' outsides. What a lovely way of putting it as well. There is so much great wisdom here. Cindy B saying, fondle that like button for this special show, One Thing Tomorrow. Thank you, Cindy, for that reminder. Oh, look at this. So yes, with those external situations, they are the trigger. I am the bullet. So
that's you, James. Yes,
nugget. many a nugget from you this morning, James. Thank you so much. It's 10 o'clock, Jenny.
Wow.
Practically then. So I will make sure this slide, we've got some pictures of Malaga. And go on.
Carl, I send you also some pictures of the borehole drilling. I don't know if you still like to put them up for people to see what happened with their money. We got water.
I can't believe what I've just seen in front of my eyes, but he has sent me a donkey video. Do I show it or not? We've got Malaga. We've got Malaga pictures as well. It's nature. We were talking about being in tune with nature, so on that basis, I'll show it. I think as well.
Parental advisory now.
Say that again. What's that?
Parental advisory now.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. So parents, you can use this as a situation to educate your children about the birds and the bees and donkeys in this case. But it's all very natural and it's happening in a field near you. So let me just find all of these wonderful pickies and videos of Malaga and of donkeys having fun. I've got so many pictures to show you. What have you got? The borehole, have you? There's pictures of boreholes here, are there? Somewhere.
Yeah, I think I sent them to your WhatsApp.
You did. We'll get to. So maybe while I'm finding those, could you just kind of sum up for us the practical steps? People might be saying, "Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, I understand. Hello, I totally understand. How do I start this process?" And you said, the first time is the worst. But what setting? What professional help? Do you do it with a friend? How can you begin this process of the after the luggage comes the baggagey bit?
I think the most important thing, because the way whatever helps you might be really individual. Of course, you can always reach out to me, to a friend, to any other therapist. But I find in any of the situations, whether the first or the next time, it's really to connect with yourself somehow. So take your time, not to be, and really maybe just sit out in nature. Of course, that's what I do, but we have so beautiful places here. Or just take a place where you feel really comfortable, your balcony, whatever, and just take a moment for yourself to feel inside and allow these feelings to be there. And you will see it doesn't take long, and then they actually go. What I always recommend to people is, if you feel uncomfortable with something triggers you, first check in, why does that trigger me? And try to go into the observer perspective. So try to look at it from your best friend's perspective, let's say. What if your best friend is telling you that story? How would you react? What would you tell your best friend?
Yes.
And then what I always like doing myself, and what I like to recommend to people, is you can set up an imaginary table to invite these feelings. They might be good, they might be, I don't like to say good and bad, because they all have their place and value, but maybe let's say comfortable and less comfortable feelings.
Yes, well said.
You can invite them to this table, and they just want to be looked at. They just want to be acknowledged. Just like us as little kids, when we were showing our mom the picture. All we needed was this little moment of, yeah, great. That's it. And usually the feelings are so happy with that too. So you can ask them, invite them to sit there on the table whenever some kind of uncomfortableness comes with you. And even if you're in a social setting, just take yourself out, go to the toilet for a moment, whatever. Have this, and don't feel bad or ashamed about it. At the end, you are a model for all of the others to learn how to deal with emotions. And we all can learn this. So take this table, put whichever uncomfortableness is there, and offer it a drink to go. Very important, eh? It's a drink to go. No ceramic mug, no good morning Portugal mug. No, it will be just a paper cup.
Yeah.
And they can have a tea or a coffee, and you'll be there and listen, but it's limited. Huh?
Yes.
So they will need to go, but they will go, and that's the beauty of it. As soon as you start practicing this, you will see, oh my God, it's that easy actually. If I just look at it and give it, 2 minutes of my energy and time, unshared, of course. It's not like, yeah, I'm gonna watch my favorite soap, and at the side I'm gonna check what's the anger in me. It's not like that. So please take the time to really focus on yourself. And might feel alien at the beginning, might feel selfish at the beginning. That's okay. It's all a matter of practice. Be gentle and look at it.
Yes.
And then if you notice you can't get on with that, or you seem to run against the wall, or you still feel stuck, then people like me, hairdressers, lots of other therapists are there, friends, to listen to you and dare to open.
Yeah,
Dare
yeah.
to feel.
I'm sure there are people within our own community here that you could make alliances with for this purpose.
Yeah.
All power, says Andrew, comes from within.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's so much power that is available. I think that's the payoff, isn't it, Jenny? You know, everything has a reaction. I think the reaction of dealing with dysfunctional patterns is that instead of the power used to carry on the dysfunctional pattern, it's available to you for some other purpose, isn't it? Once dealt with, once freed up. So use your power for good. Thank you, Andrew. All addictions are an effort to resolve our pain and suffering, of course, whatever they be. Yes, and I'll be drinking beer again next Thursday. Thanks and love to you all. Bob, thank you for being here. And Karen, enjoy being yourselves and have a wonderful day. How lovely. The way out is in. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
If you don't look within, you go without. Thank you, Carl and Jenny. Make sure Uncle Krusty has plenty of refreshment. Take your time and enjoy. Yes, keep sipping on the kombucha, Uncle Krusty. 2-year-old cries and cries, and then when they're fully expressed, finish crying, they go out and play. That's so true. That's so true. That could be us too, guys. That could be us too. Yeah. Instead of being that person who you meet down the pub who didn't have a good cry, they would just prefer to talk about the same thing for 10 years that's bugging them, and project and do all sorts of things. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I think we all know, we've all seen that person and probably been that person from time to time.
And let me tell you something. If you shit for 20 years or even a week, and you're always free to say, I love you, you're my friend, I can see you struggling, but I'm not available for your stories anymore.
Wow.
What would you like to do to change that?
Tough love. Now, you froze up for a bit. You froze up for a bit, and all I heard was shit for 20 years. Now, could you just say the first bit again?
I said, when you have somebody like this around you, and there are a lot of energy vampires out there.
Oh, yes.
Just what Carl was saying. They keep on moaning about the same stuff, but they're not changing anything. And that's fine, because a lot of people need that moaning and prefer that towards the change. But you don't need to feed that with your energy. You can always say, no, I love you, you're my friend, and I can see you're struggling. I offered you my help. If you don't want to change something, that's fine, but I'm not up for this kind of topic or conversation anymore. What would you like to do to change that?
Wow. Andrew, try that in the man cave tonight. Okay, so a few pictures of Malaga, a few pictures of the mistress, of the lover here. That looks like a nice breakfast over there in Malaga, doesn't it? And the obligatory Estrella Galicia to go with that. Yes, somebody on their balcony. It is very beautiful, but don't go there, please, anybody. This is quite something, isn't it? Beautiful, very nice, Victoria. Thank you so much. That is a lovely shop, isn't it? Beautiful. Very nice there. Super dupes. Hold on, I'm changing the ticker tape for a moment. There we go. And yes, not more nighttime scenes from Malaga. It is very beautiful. That's a fantastic color in the sky. Indigo, isn't it? Or inky blue. Inky blue. And let us. It's
not Malaga anymore.
That's certainly not. That's a funny old shot of Malaga. They don't put that in the tourism guides, do they? Hold on a minute. Before we come back to what you're doing there, because we've got pictures of donkeys, and we've got a Malaga video and a donkey video that you might want to stick around for. Look, nice ass. And look at the lovely creatures here. Fantastic.
That's sweet.
And the females are called Jennies. Would you believe it? Did you know that, Jenny?
Oh no, I didn't.
They are called Jennies.
It fits.
Yeah, there's Jeff stroking his Jenny, I think there. And a gratuitous picture of baby owls that he wanted to send. I don't know why, if those are at your house or not, Jeff, but aren't they? spooky. Thank you, Jeff, for those pictures. Donkey video to follow, and of course, as we complete, we are helping Jenny fundraise for this Nord Stream pipeline that has been turned into a new trailer for the Rainbow Guardians. This is also the work that's been going on. Is that a statue or a person there?
That's a person, but oh
No
my
way.
gosh, he has been covered completely in mud. Really, my greatest respect. It was so funny, you know. The guy with the big BMW came, took the order, and got the money. And then these two old fellas came, the poor fuckers, and they had to do all the work. They were covered in mud from top to bottom. You won't believe it. Once the water came out, it was just mud spreading everywhere. I wasn't sure if you can actually show a video, but I have a video of that. And it was, yeah, and there you see, it was raining so much that actually the guy with the drilling vehicle had to push the guy with the lorry around because the guy with the lorry wasn't able to drive. He was just sliding along.
Really?
And so it was fantastic to see. So they've always drilled this little bit in, and then the guy who is now carrying a tube, he got another bit of the drill from the lorry, and they attached it to it, and then they drilled further down. And they went 100 meters down, and now we have, hope you're all sitting, guys, we have 3,000 liters an hour coming out of our well, and that is fabulous. Thank you all so much for making this possible.
Well, thank you to everybody who contributed to that.
Yes.
That's what's happened there.
Yeah.
Do you know Lena Selway? She's over in central Portugal, and she is one of those living statues. That's what she looks like at the weekend. This guy does it every day by the look of him. And is that how it started? That's where it began.
That's exactly then where the bucket is. That's where the hole is. That's where we saved it. And all that slimy mud that you see there, I actually would have loved to make a mudslide there.
Yeah.
But that was all the clay, and there was a lot of iron as well. All that came out of the ground with the water, and the whole place. That's why we couldn't install any beds or anything before that, or build any construction before that, because that was completely flooded. Oh my God, that was one big mess. But now it's fine, it's there. And when the digger comes, we will be able to flatten all the bits that have been completely demolished now. But you know, the most important thing is the water is running, and there is
100 meters. Michelle in Australia might have that poking out in her back garden. That's incredible, isn't it? What depth? What depth? Yeah. Okay, so there you go, Jill. Thank you so much for asking a question. Yes. There you go. PayPal.me/Rainbow Guardians. That's very straightforward. The QR code works as well, and I'll put that up at the end of the show so that you can get your camera now and you can take a pic or whatever it is you do with QR codes with that. So it just remains for me to show you a lovely Malaga video from Victoria, thank you, and some donkeys having fun as well, which I've not been able to vet properly. Jenny, fantastic to talk to you. After the luggage comes the baggage, everybody. You know where Jenny B is, and you know where other friends are in this community if you want to begin that process, if that's where you are in your journey of migration and your great adventure in Portugal. It's part of the journey. It's not the only part of the journey. So many wonderful things to enjoy, but if you are getting these niggling senses that something's not quite right, it might be that's a little bit of the baggage or the undercarriage of your flying carpet showing itself from time to time. Jenny B, great job. Love to you. Thanks to Uncle Crusty as well. Let's have a look at some videos now. Where did they go to? Yeah, and I will put that QR code up at the end as well there. Okay, so Malaga first. Ciao, ciao, Jenny B. Bon fin de semana.
Can I speak whilst the videos are on?
No, you can't. You should speak now if you want to speak. Did you want to do a commentary of donkeys fornicating?
Oh, no.
Okay, but say it now then. Did you want to?
I don't want to do the voiceover.
David Attenborough style. Oh my goodness.
And I just wanted to say the only reason why the Portugal News have chosen Lisbon as the happiest city, because they have never been at Jenny's Rainbow Fairyland.
No, you're quite right. They've never been out of Lisbon, probably, have they? So that's why it's and good for them. Isn't it lovely that they live in the place that they think is the happiest place? Wouldn't that be great? If more people could do that, that would be fantastic. That's a good note to end on. Have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana. Go on, Jenny. Keep going. Ciao, ciao.